Greetings my lovelies, hi, it's Emmy. Welcome back to another MRE tasting. So MREs, or meals ready to eat, are US government issued meals. Come in a bag that are completely ready to eat for a US soldier. So I've done a few military ration tastings in the past, and I shall point you down in the description box if you're interested to a playlist of all the different ones I've done. I've done a UK one, I've done a New Zealand one, I've done a Japanese one, so yeah. If you're interested, go down there. This MRE is a little bit special because it is a cold weather ration. It's menu 6, seafood chowder, and it comes in this white bag so it camouflages with the snow. So I think this one's going to be a little bit different than the other MREs I've had in the past because I think most of the stuff in here is dehydrated and it makes sense for the cold weather. Let's open the package. So we open the package up here. It says peelable seal, which is nice. Pretty tight seal. There we go. We get the package open. And here's what's inside. Wow. Looks like we have a Sundries Pack, a nut fruit mix, seafood chowder, spoon, smoked almonds, shortbread cookies, face powder, and some vegetable crackers. So I just add the hot water to this pouch. I'm a bad soldier and do not have my knife on me. Let's cut this up here. Did you hear that? That was a vacuum seal. Awesome. It looks a little bit like a vacuum sealed coffee. It looks a lot like Thanksgiving stuffing. So I'm going to add 10 ounces, which is 1.25 cups of boiling water. 1.25 cups boiling water. Pour that into here. And use my government issued spoon here. Give that a stir. Ooh, it definitely smells seafoody. Close that up, and we'll let that sit for 10 minutes. Okay, so while that's cooking, let's try the smoked almonds first. Whoa. They're the smoked almonds. They're a little bit shorter than almonds that I've noticed before. Usually the almonds that I'm familiar with are a little bit longer. All right, let's give them a taste. Smoked almonds down the hatch. Wow. Boy, it's been a really long time since I've had a smoked almond, and very, very smoky. Smoky and very, very salty. But it's pleasant. It's nice. One thing I've never really liked about smoked almonds, and this goes for Cheetos too, is it leaves a little bit of this kind of powdery residue on your fingers, which makes you feel kind of grimy, but that's just probably my own issue, but tasty, tasty snack. Next, we're gonna try this, and this is the nut fruit mix. It says it's raw sunflower kernels and infused fruit. This one has a handy dandy little tear pouch right here. Oh yeah, and it looks like whoa, look at that. That I guess is the infused fruit. Looks like one piece of fruit in that entire bowl. There's some other fruit in here. Looks like some dried cranberries. Yeah, this is an almond that I'm kind of thinking more of. See how these almonds are a little bit longer than these almonds? Anyway, I'm gonna get a bite with everything in there. It's a little bit bland. It's not seasoned at all. There's no salt or sugar or any kind of seasoning on there, so all you really taste are the flavors of the nuts and the fruits, which is nice. But after having those really salty almonds, I'm really craving a little bit of a salt. Because these are nuts, these are really high in calories, so I think it'd be a really, really great snack to have with you. Whoa, that was gross. There was a candied cherry in there that was disgusting. It was really hard and tasted of artificial cherry. The other ones taste great. They taste like real fruit. So there's no frills there. It's just a combination of nuts and fruit, and I think a really great snack to have in your pack. I love the fact that these meals come in these really thick plastic bags because there's so many uses out in the field for things like this, for holding water, for holding anything you need to dispose of. Yeah, super. Or just using it as a carrying vessel, you know? Let's make a beverage, and this is the beverage base powder, and this is lemon lime. So I've had several of these instant electrolyte powder drinks, but never in a container like this. So this looks a little bit like a bottle. It's got this kind of Coca-Cola bottle shape to it, and it looks like you add directly into this container 12 ounces of cold water. Open it like that, and then you open the zippered pouch here. 1.5 cups of water, and give it a swish. This is awesome. I love this idea. I'm curious to see if it stands up on its own, though. That's my only question. Kind of. Yeah, look at that. That's sick. First, let's give it a swig out of the actual container. All right, here we go. Come by. It's not bad. It's actually nice. It's like Gatorade, but not as sweet, which I like. It's sour and tangy, and it has that kind of slippery electric light texture to it. And I like the fact that it's not just sweetness. It's nice and tangy. In terms of actually what it looks like, whoa! Oh my gosh, I was expecting it to look more yellow, more like Gatorade, but this is scary. It's really green. All right, let's give it a taste in the glass and see if it tastes any better. No, it doesn't taste any worse either, but yeah, there you go. Beverage-based patter, lemon lime. So let's check on our seafood chowder. It smells like clam chowder. If you're not into clam chowder, then you're probably going to be really disappointed by this. It smells pretty good. All right, let's use our spoon and see how our chowder looks. Whoa, that's quite a chowder. Yeah, it's very, very thick. It's not like a soup at all. Definitely more like a meal. All right, itadakimasu. I think I could have let mine sit a little bit longer. There's some pieces that are in there that have not quite hydrated, a little bit chewy. Maybe that's the seafood bits. But yeah, it doesn't taste bad at all. It tastes a lot like a canned chowder. The consistency is a little bit different. It's a little bit more like stuffing. They've added some breading in here, so it's got that thicker texture to it. It's a little bit spongy because there's some kind of reconstituted bread in there. Pieces of chibi clam, pieces of potato, a little bit of celery, and actually a little bit better than canned chowder because it doesn't have that canned flavor to it. This has just been freeze-dried, so it tastes more fresh. And along with that, let's have this vegetable cracker. I just broke it, but they're these really large cracker. I don't see very many vegetables in there, but I guess there's a little bit of speckling in there. Maybe that's the vegetable. All right, here we go. Pretty good. The cracker's nice and hearty. It tastes like it might be stone ground wheat. It's got a little bit of coarseness to it. It's flaky and it's quite dense, but not bad for an army ration cracker. And actually goes really well with this chowder. It's almost more like a dip. Nice. All right, so the last part of our meal is dessert. And this is the shortbread cookies. Yay. So I can already hear them crumbling around in there. So I think they're going to be pretty crummy, but ha 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 ha, that was not punny. It's all crumbs. Looks like they might be sort of like those little Danish cookies that come in those blue tins, but there's enough to taste. This ration pack is missing a hot beverage. Most of them contain a coffee or hot chocolate, but yeah. Anyways, imagine me dipping this in tea. Itadakimasu. And it tastes exactly as it's described. It's a shortbread cookie that's vanilled and has a crumbly, kind of buttery texture to it. It tastes like a store-bought shortbread cookie, but it's great. All right, for the last thing, let's open the Sundries Pack. So I said there's no coffee, but I lied because I think the coffee's in here. All right, let's see. Open this up. And there are 2 pieces of gum. And this looks like this might be toilet paper. Toilet tissue, yep. Stack of toilet paper, which is very important. Oh, non-dairy creamer. Indeed, here's the instant coffee. Tabasco, which I think would be great with the chowder. Packet of sugar. Some matches. Looks like these are specially designed for damp climates. And a moist towelette to clean up. Excellent. I like my coffee pretty strong, so I'm not going to put too much water in there. And I am lactose intolerant, so I'm not going to put any creamer in there. Even though it's non-dairy creamer. Come by. Ooh, that's strong truck stop coffee. It's not the best coffee I've had by any means, but you know, when you're out in the field and it's really cold, I'm sure it's amazing. Especially with a little cookie crumb. Yeah. definitely. All right, let's finish this meal off with a piece of gum. Some people have told me that there's some rumors about this gum, that you shouldn't have them because there's laxative qualities. Some people say it's just a joke, but I'm going to taste it. Here we go. That's great gum. The candy coating on the outside is actually kind of soft. It's not so crunchy, but it's very, very pepperminty, so it makes your mouth feel really clean and fresh. I like that. So that wraps up this MRE, which is a cold weather menu 6 seafood chowder meal. My soldiers out there, let me know in the comments below if there's anything I need to know more about these rations or just rations in general. All right, I hope you guys enjoy that. I hope you guys learned something. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I shall see you in my next video. Toodaloo, take care, bye. These are 2 little Japanese kits, and they're called Tsunagete and the Ramune. So these are candies, but they're like little candy chains. Moist towelettes. I mean, who loves that word, moist towelette? Remember the ones you used to get from KFC that smelled like lemon?